Attention to the terminal, the passenger
Gentlemen,
who
please
had a
unfurl the
grocery
flag.
bag with some food, a Tupperware container, and a coffee mug. Please return to the security checkpoint for your items.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. On one of our earlier flights on the way in, one of the World War II veterans said to me, he said, "This is unbelievable." He said, "This is like the welcome home that I never got." And so, in case nobody said it before, on behalf of Leatherstocking Honor Flight, North Country Honor Flight, and everybody that supports us in so many ways, we'd all like to say, welcome home! Yeah! I just have a couple of administrative things before we get started. One of the Navy guys had a question for me. I thought I'd answer it publicly. I did look at our itinerary. We're pretty rushed when we're down there. We're not going to have time to stop at the tattoo parlor. So I'm sorry. I've also been asked to have the Marines try to behave today. We're bringing down with us a minimal amount of bail money. So we have misdemeanor money with us, but we don't have any felony money. So please behave on the way. Hoorah! Hoorah! All right, Marines. All right. Also, for you Army guys, especially you sergeants, please on the bus and on the plane, no crap games. And we have a bunch of Air Corps guys with us, and I'm pleased to tell you, where did you see this plane? Where did you get on a plane? A pressurized cabin. You guys are gonna love it. No more 20 below. We have a few people here that would stop by. Would like to say a few words to you before we get going. Our first is a local news anchor, and he contacted us about 2 years ago and wanted to know more about Honor Flight. And we explained to him what we did and how we did it. And he actually came down on one of our flights and brought a videographer with him, and they documented the flight. We were on the news and so on and so forth. But the interesting thing about it was, with the many phone calls going back and forth between Mark and I in putting this all together, I sensed, and I said to Mark, I said, this story is a little bit more special than most of the stuff you do. And he said to me, oh yeah, this is very, very special. So I'd like to, Mark Baker from Channel 10 News. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. And I do have to say, when I went down there a couple of years ago, one of the most memorable days, not only as a journalist, but my entire life. It is absolutely a wonderful day. And I just want to share a brief little personal item here. Just recently, I got a copy of a letter from my cousin that he found in our grandmother's old Bible. Now, that Bible had been set aside as a family heirloom, so it hadn't really been thumbed through. He was a preacher. He reads the Bible a lot, but he hadn't thumbed through that much for many, many years. But it turns out he found a letter in that. That letter in that Bible was from my dad that he had written while he was in World War II. And he talked, mostly about family items, which I would imagine most of you did when you sent your letters back home during the war. But he also talked about things like radar. He was at radar school and how much he was amazed by that and how excited he was to learn more about that. But he wrote this letter in early 1945. Just a few months later, you can do the math, he was on a ship heading for the invasion of Japan. And, he wasn't looking to be a hero, and fortunately, he always loved Harry Truman because he ended the war before he ever saw any combat. My dad was not looking to be a hero. He was more than happy not to see any combat. But the important thing was that he was there to do his duty, just as all of you were. And 2 years ago, when I went on the flight, I met so many of your peers who did everything from, what might seem like mundane chores to the most terrifying combat. But the important thing was that everybody did their job. That was the important thing. It took millions of people. What you did in back home, I would imagine there were a few Rosie Riveters here today. Anybody here, any ladies who worked in the factories during World War II? I would imagine so. My mom worked in the can factory. But it was an all-out effort. It was the ultimate team effort. And we are so grateful for all that you did for us back then, and it lives on today. And I just want to tell you that when you go down there today, I know you're a very modest lot. A lot of you never talk about the war, and that's up to you whether you want to open up on that today. But I do ask you this, to let your guard down a little bit so that you cherish today, because this is just the beginning. And this is so wonderful. Greg, you guys do such a great job in organizing this send-off. But it's going to be like this all day long. And you deserve it. The memorial is beautiful. And I don't know if any of you listen to rock music. Any of you listen to rock music? Are you into the rock culture at all? Probably not. But today, you are going to be rock stars when you're down there in the 7th Ward. You will absolutely